With the help of a smooth-talking tomcat, a family of Parisian felines set to inherit a fortune from their owner try to make it back home after a jealous butler kidnaps them and leaves them in the country.
Hi, I'm Andre.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Luis.
And we are the Walt Vault, a family-friendly podcast where we get silly and talk about Disney movies. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 19. I should have looked that up.
It's 19 because we were legal last time.
That's right. Yeah.
And now we're illegal.
I have a bone to pick with Andre.
Extra legal.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Ooh, bones.
Andre doesn't like cheese.
No, he
but
doesn't.
But today he told me
Not a fan.
that he likes cheesecake.
Right.
That is cheese.
But it doesn't taste anything like cheese, and it doesn't seem like cheese. It doesn't have the same texture as cheese.
I like cheese, but I don't like cheesecake.
I don't necessarily, but okay, let me backtrack. I am an expert at cheesecaking, and I don't believe there's much of any cheese in a cheesecake.
Aha!
There's cream cheese?
Which is probably why.
Which is different from regular cheese.
Which is what I said to Michelle when she asked me about this earlier.
I just want everyone to know that we eat pizza a lot here at the Walt Vault. Like when we're all together, we eat pizza very often. And what is on every pizza pretty much in America?
Cheese.
Cheese. Andre, if he looks at it too long, he has to scrape it off.
Cheese must be removed.
And so I always forget and ask for double cheese. And sorry.
It's just more for me to pull off, I guess.
I make you work for your food.
Yeah. When I order pizza, I get it with no cheese and extra sauce.
You want to know what sounds
The heck is that? A soupy bread?
Yeah, with toppings in it.
You want to know what sounds good right
Bunch of
now?
meat tossed on top. What's up?
Creme a la Edgar.
What
was
la
it called?
creme de la...
La creme.
Creme de la Edgar.
Yum.
So you want to fall asleep
Yep.
and get kidnapped
No.
and
we
not know where you woke
are
up.
talking about the 1970 animated film, The Aristocats.
1970.
The best original, well, classic Disney movie out there.
In your opinion.
Ooh. Ooh.
You can just get out this house. You can just get up and walk out this house.
But yeah,
So
we're talking
good.
about the Aristocats. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't know where we were going.
I was doing the goose dance. All right, Andre, what are your first impressions of the Aristocats?
I like this movie a lot. It's quite charming. It's fun. It puts a little pep in my step. Every time I am waddling or see somebody waddling or think about waddling, I think of the song with the geese. It's so good. So, yeah, good stuff. First impressions. Boom.
My first impression is I don't like cats necessarily growing up because I'm allergic to them. But this movie, like, really, really makes me like cats. And now I need a cat in my life. Like, if I had an orange cat named Thomas O'Malley, that'd be dope. He's so cool. And
Abraham
this
DeLacy.
movie,
Giuseppe Casey.
Thomas O'Malley. O'Malley the alley cat.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you don't need allergic reactions, Michelle.
I'm allergic to cats, yes.
I know, but you said I need a cat in my life, and I'm saying I'm pretty sure you don't.
It doesn't
need
have to live with
allergic-
me. I can just see it on the street. Like, I don't know.
So you want?
Hey, you see that
someone
cat over there?
else's
That's
I
my
want
cat.
to see an orange cat just walking down the street, like, super smooth. Just like, my name is Giuseppe Casey. I forgot
Well,
the
I'll tell you
word.
what, the day before the garbage man comes around and picks up your complex of garbage, go to the garbage can and you'll see plenty of cats.
Yeah.
We have plenty of cats in our apartment complex. That's okay. What are your first impressions, Emily?
It's
She's
good.
making fun of me.
It's good. It's a good movie. I like it. Yeah.
It's good, and I like it. An official review from Emily Ruiz.
Luis,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what are your first impressions?
I support my wife in saying it's the best original old school Disney movie.
I like how he stumbled with the same exact
Yeah.
words that I stumbled with. Thank you.
I support my wife. Good answer.
It's a good old movie.
That's why we get married, so that we can support each other in our fumbles. Thank you.
But honestly, this is the only movie that I've ever seen cats in that I'm actually like. I like cats because most of the time they're annoying. Like that cat from Shrek is annoying. Boots.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots is annoying.
How dare you?
You think Antonio Banderas is annoying?
You
No,
think
I think
Zorro
Puss in Boots is
is annoying?
Yes.
You need to watch it, Puss in Boots,
Who's
the
better
TV
orange
show.
cat? Thomas O'Malley.
You mean
On
Benicio
Netflix?
del Toro?
Nobody's gonna get that joke.
Benicio
Luis.
del Toro. When was
Well,
he a
it's from the
cat?
commercial where, like, I think it's like a Heineken commercial, and Benicio del Toro's in it, and then some British tourists are like, "It's Antonio Banderas."
Oh, I have seen that commercial. That's
and then,
funny.
you know, Benicio always has a grouchy look on his face, and he just takes off. Anyways, back to the Walt Ball.
Okay.
All right. Well, see, that's what happens when Luis talks more on the podcast.
Yeah.
That is what happens.
You get a commercial
But I
described
think-
to you.
I think
That's
our
fun.
first impressions were all good.
Yeah.
I think
Goodness
that they
gracious.
were,
Let's
were
go. Let's
acceptable.
go through the plot a little bit.
Geez Louise, this Paris, 1910.
Yeah.
The Duchess is the main cat, but I'm trying not to talk about her yet. I'm trying to talk
Duchess's
about
mom cat.
what's the
lady.
lady,
Madam.
Madame. Her
Madame.
name is Adelaide.
It's
Her name
Madame.
is Adelaide,
What? Has a
and
name.
and she
thought
used
she
to
was
be
just a
an
bad-
opera star.
Oh.
FYI. And she's like BFFs with her old lawyer, who is named George.
George.
Something.
He is great.
George.
So pretty much all of the human characters in this movie are hilarious,
They're very eccentric.
eccentric to
Yes.
their own hilt, and personality to boot.
That's very true. Oh wow, the lady who played Madam is named Hermione Baddeley.
Granger.
No.
No.
Hermione Baddeley.
Okay.
Old Hermione. Look at her go.
Hermione.
Yeah, so Madame is a crazy cat lady with a bunch of money.
Straight up, she's a crazy
Who's
cat
best
lady.
friends with a crazy
lawyer.
old lawyer whose knees don't work at all. And then she has a butler who is
Totally normal at first, and then literally
And then-
loses his mind.
Yeah,
very
he's
insane
totally
and very
normal.
dumb
And then
at
Edgar,
the same
dumb.
time.
and Edgar goes crazy. Like, Edgar has the best deal of his life waiting for him. Like, all he has to do is wait for those cats to die. But
No.
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 He's like, I'm going to kill
Doesn't
them
even
right
have to
now.
wait for them to die. They're cats.
Exactly. He can buy a new chateau and be like, the cats need living space.
Like it's
He,
so
like,
crazy
he
because
lives with the cats already.
But
so
First
she's
of all-
explaining her will right to George and
George.
She's explaining her will to George. Edgar is just listening from his
Creepy room.
his creepy butler
Basement?
lair, and he's listening.
His
and-
Batman cave.
and she's saying like, "Oh man, I need to leave all my money to the cats, all of it. My entire estate should go to these 4 kittens, 3 kittens and one mama cat. Excuse me." And then Edgar's like, "Oh no!" And she's like, "Well, and then after the cats pass, then Edgar can have everything, I guess, or
And
whatever."
he just sees money symbols, and he's like, well, I might as well kill these cats before the old lady even dies. Because in my brain, if he kills the cats, she's just going to buy new cats and change her will again. It's going to go to new cats.
Edgar, you jumped the gun so much. You got to wait for the lady to die. You got to wait for the cats to die. And he didn't do any of that. He's like, I'm killing those cats right now.
He's just a little.
And then he went to go get his sleeping pills.
He literally went from
0 to 60.
60 in no time flat.
Real quick.
And I mean,
Real quick.
let's talk about when he goes to get the sleeping pills. Let's be honest. If somebody put that much sleeping pills in anything, they would be asleep forever.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure
animals.
he put like the
They're
whole.
basically
The
Yeah.
animals would be in eternal sleep.
Especially since
Yeah.
they're small animals. Yes.
Yeah, like
He put
I
a
don't know
lot.
how that ended up working out. Maybe it was all absorbed by the cracker, and then
Cracker.
yeah, the cracker.
That's
that,
right, because
The
Roquefort
mouse.
gets
Roquefort
in on
gets
that
in there.
creme de la Edgar too.
Roquefort.
But yeah, going back to Edgar, he dumbest butler I've ever seen.
It makes me sad though because at the beginning I really liked
likable.
him. Like,
Right.
and he's like, they're on their little carriage ride, and he's super nice, letting the cat all up on his head.
Yeah.
What happened? He just went money hungry.
Quick time.
At one point, I think one of the kittens suspected Edgar, and the mom cat was like, no, Edgar loves us. He's the best. He's the best butler in the world.
He
would
just
never
made her
harm
into
us."
a little like
Duchess
Mexican
did
lady.
The one time
You
Andre
don't like
didn't
my
get
Duchess
the accent right.
No, Edgar, no. Thomas O'Malley.
Emily's crying.
Toulouse, Marie.
Why are you guys picking on Duchess? I like Duchess.
I'm picking on Andre's interpretation of Duchess. Duchess is fine.
Edgar would never hurt the
Marie.
head on my head.
Let's just talk about how I used a napkin to wipe my face because I was crying and it had salt on it from your In-N-Out fries and now my eyes are burning.
Boom.
Well, now it's on your Chromebook.
She's
It's
salty
fine.
because she's
Self-burn.
salty.
Oh, no. Duchess is actually a really cool mom. She's down with the times. Like she isn't afraid of the fact that O'Malley's totally the worst of the worst alley cat.
Well,
Nah, he be
He's smooth.
is
what did he say?
I love O'Malley, but he is definitely
He goes, helping beautiful damsels is my specialty.
You know what, guys? He's
So
taking him back
he's
to the
a
shag pad.
Cat,
Like
but he's a dog. You
He
know what
is
I'm
a
saying?
dog.
No, he's not like that. He has some values.
No, he doesn't.
He's like Huckleberry Finn.
what?
Yes. He
Explain.
lives out in the wild. He, lives day by day, but he's still a gentleman.
Okay. I mean, he does show his gentlemanly side for sure.
Yes.
He saves Murray from like every possible downfall when they're in the countryside, which is really cool.
I like O'Malley because he was a bit of a dog at first because he was definitely trying to get with Miss Duchess.
Yeah, he
over
was.
there
Because then when she was
real
like,
quick.
"Oh, you're gonna help me get back to Paris? Great!" And then the 3 kids come out. He's like, "Oh,
You got a kid. Oh, you got 2 kids. Oh, you got 3 kids.
And almost had how many, Michelle?
what?
4.
Oh, yes, almost had 4. There was supposed to be another cat named Waterloo.
What?
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
What color would Waterloo have been?
Blue.
There's no blue cats.
Light gray.
Well, there's no talking cats either. I think there could be a blue cat if they wanted to.
Good point.
It's so funny because
And FYI, Andre said blue at the exact same time I did. He just
said
said
blue
it
too.
quieter.
sorry, I was just choking. Okay,
Oh.
anyways. It's funny that we're talking about the kittens because there's 3 kittens. So the white cat is a girl named Marie. And then there's Belouise,
Okay.
who is the black
Berlioz.
gray
Berlioz. Belouise.
Berlioz, same thing. And then
Belle
there
was actually my first name.
what's the third one's name? My
Toulouse.
favorite? Toulouse is my favorite. I love Toulouse, the orange cat.
Mm-hmm.
So Marie is like so popular in Disney culture right now. Like you can buy her at Disneyland and she's on shirts with always that famous quote that like ladies don't start fights, they finish them. But
I like how you say that.
Where's all the Toulouse merch? I'm trying to have some Toulouse merch because he's my favorite.
I like how you say it, too loose.
Too loose. Hey, too loose.
Well,
It's
he's my favorite.
Toulouse.
Toulouse.
Pull your pants up, too loose. They too loose.
Well, Toulouse. Apparently, my French accent is very, very bad. Okay, the
Toulouse.
Okie is coming out of me.
Toulouse.
Toulouse is my favorite of the 3 cats, and I need some Toulouse merchandise.
Well, he's the one that does the rare,
That's right.
which is hilarious. So,
He's the
and he does
he's
it
the
multiple
artist.
times.
well, and that's the cool thing about the way that they're named. I noticed while we were watching, well, I noticed this before, but when you're watching the movie, they have a lot of very culturally correct names, which like if you watch other Disney movies, the names are kind of just like off the wall.
Right.
But here, a lot of them are nods to either people of the times or artists or whatnot. But Toulouse is actually supposed to be after Toulouse-Lautrec, which is a painter. And if you turn your head to the side, that painting on the wall is actually a representation of a Toulouse-Lautrec. So there you go.
There's your Toulouse merch right
There's
there.
your Toulouse.
Boom.
And your coasters are Toulouse-Lautrec. So there you go.
Toulouse.
So he was a French painter and was really big in that time period. And then similarly, Berlioz was a composer, correct?
Hector.
Hector.
I
So
wonder if Hector Berlioz cracked his knuckles like that too.
he probably cracked his toes before he started. But Marie, I don't know. I feel like Marie is so...
Marie's not.
I mean,
Antoinette.
Yeah.
that's what I said. Monsieur Marie
Oh,
Antoinette.
yeah, like
Let
Marie
them-
Antoinette.
Who knows? Says works for me. But a lot of the other names too, like Lafayette and Napoleon,
Yes.
they're just very.
Those are two French
Two war
military
dogs.
men.
Yes.
War dogs, exactly.
And they're definitely war dogs.
Yeah.
My favorites.
Every
I'm the leader.
sex student knows you must learn your skills and your I used to sing that.
I like how the Duchess was just letting them have, like arts and crafts time.
Yeah,
She
she was
is-
like, children practice.
Toulouse was getting paint everywhere all over this very
All
nice
over the
house.
piano.
I love how I always mess up his name. Berlioz.
Berlioz.
How he plays the piano, which I get he doesn't have fingers, but he literally is slapping the keys. It's like right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
And
Oh my god.
He's very charming as he does it too. He's
Oh.
like raising his eyebrows. And
He's like,
Super cute.
Look
Oh
at
yeah,
how
he
good
does the little
piano
like,
I
hey,
am.
hey. And Marie just rolls her eyes at him like, show off.
oh, it's hilarious. And then when they start going, they're fighting. Well, not fighting. I call it piano
paint,
battling.
yeah.
And they're painting back and
battling,
forth.
yes.
Oh, that's quite hilarious. I love.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun.
And they smack each other's heads.
Ooh,
It's cute stuff.
good stuff.
That's like the best
Again,
thing.
I don't like cats, but hey, that's
I
just
used
too
to sing
cute.
that song like a lot as a child. I don't know why. Just like the
Scales
Scales and
and
Arpeggios
Arpeggios.
song, like in the car with my family. That's kind of a weird.
Did they sing it or did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I
just
sang it
Michelle
too.
by
So
herself.
y'all sang it.
We all sang it together.
Okay.
Too loose.
Too loose. Andre's
who's
face, though.
You said Berlioz is your favorite of the three?
Yeah, I like
Andre?
Berlioz because he's.
Who did you say yours was? You have one?
Scab cat.
Scat
Cat.
Cat.
Okay, first off, I said Scab Cat because up until today, Luis and I both thought that his name was Scab Cat.
Why?
Why? I have no. It's like like
He
when
does
you
not
say
have
something.
any scabs. He has fur.
Well, I know, but you know how like when you think of something as a kid and it just sticks and you have no
Yeah.
reason as to why to think it. It's so funny because we have multiple times in our marriage said this line to each other, lay some skin on me, Scab Cat, right? But we're saying Scab
Scab
Cat.
Cat.
So then we both look at each other like, ooh, that's kind of gross. Skin, Scab Cat, right? So
Lay
then
some broken, damaged skin on me, Scab Cat.
Disgusting.
so then we're watching it with subtitles. I'm like, it's Scat Cat.
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
a
Scat.
Because he's voiced by Scatman Carruthers.
Exactly.
And he's a jazz singer.
And he's like scats,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Which makes so much more sense now, but oh my god, I was like, oh, lay some skin on me, Scat Cat, not Scab Cat. Oh,
Womp,
mm.
womp.
I know, but Scab Cat's totally my. Actually, all those cats,
The jazz
Even the
cats.
hippie one.
Oh.
Hippie Cat's cool.
one's funny.
But what about?
I like the big Russian cat.
Oh.
He plays the bass.
I also like the uncle, and now I can't remember what his name is, but the Uncle Duck. The drunk Uncle Duck.
I wrote it down.
Literally, he's the drunk uncle, and that's hilarious.
Yes.
I remember a long time ago when we were watching. What was the very first movie that we had saw someone intoxicated in, and we were like, Disney's never.
It was the Good
had-
Dinosaur.
Yeah, the Good
When they ate
Dinosaur.
those
They've
berries or
never
whatever.
had anybody.
Oh yeah, no, they
intoxicated.
were straight up
Well,
intoxicated.
You're wrong. Uncle Waldo.
Uncle
was
Waldo
getting messed up.
was married.
At
He was
that restaurant.
marinated.
Basted.
No,
She's marinating in it.
So I'm pretty sure that was the first drunk uncle.
Oh, that was quite hilarious.
You wake up the whole neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, the geese.
The geese.
The geese.
Abigail and Amelia.
Gabble.
Gabble.
They're my favorite characters. Hands down. They're so good.
They're like little British gossipers. They just see O'Malley in the river, like struggling, and he's like, "Go help me, I got this." Like trying to get out, and they're like, "That's not how you learn how to swim." Like, come on, geese.
At one point, he's like under the water, O'Malley, and he like grabs their tails on accident. They're like, "Oh, dear sir, this is no time for fun and games."
My favorite part with them is they get up on the bank and Amelia and
Abigail.
The two. Thank you. Amelia and Abigail see the Duchess and the kids, and they turn to her and they're like, "Oh, your husband, he's so charming and good looking and such a wonderful, whatever they say."
Guy,
yes, he's just so fantastic. And then he's like,
"I'm not really a husband."
Not really. And then they're like, "Oh."
They like, turn on him.
They're like, "So what
immediately.
Is it? You are or you aren't?" And he's like,
"No, I'm not." And literally go from 0 to 60. They're hating on him. He's the worst.
Lot.
He's the worst alley cat they've ever seen, and it's quite hilarious.
A philanderer that toys with women's hearts.
That's right.
Philanderer.
Hilarious. I think my favorite moment of them is still when they're in the river and O'Malley is like drowning, and they're like bottoms up, and they go down. And then they come back up and they can't find him. And she says, like, super dramatically,
"Deepa!"
Deepa! I don't understand why that's so funny, but it is.
Well, and you know what else is really funny? Which is, it's not even funny, really, that she's like, "We're on a walking tour of the French countryside from England." And they're literally on a walking, because they're
waddling.
They're literally walking from all the way down.
Yeah.
That's
hilarious.
Stupid.
And I thought when they saw their drunken uncle, they were going to be like, "Oh," like
I can't
super
believe
offended about it. They're like,
Waldo.
"Oh, uncle is just so funny. Let's get him home." I'll just
drunkenly walk him
freaking
home.
geese.
They know what's up.
I wish, and if you guys,
This isn't Uncle Waldo's first time. I'm
ready to party with Uncle Waldo on Thanksgiving. It's fine.
the geese
Not that they celebrate, but
the geese that live around us are not as cool as them geese.
Oh, no.
True.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of our listeners are in the Central Valley of California, and so you guys know what we're talking about when we talk about the Stanislaus State geese and ducks and stuff.
Everywhere.
If you're not from our area, literally our campus, we will say, is one of the most beautiful CSU campuses, which is great for us, but it also means that there's a lot of waterfowl that come to
It's
us.
literally infested with geese and ducks. There's signs everywhere on the campus, especially in the spring, that's like, "Don't get close to them because they will attack you." And I've been chased multiple
That is
times.
not what the sign says, but
They will attack you.
they will attack you.
This
They-
very
they
well
say
may
stay
be your
away from the
last
geese.
night on Earth. Stay away from
I
these
vividly
geese.
remember, like, my second year of college, I was outside eating French fries, and a duck just jumped up on the table and started eating them. And I was like, "What in the world?"
You're lucky he didn't start eating you.
Abigail would never do this.
But yeah, so we know all about these
The geese.
crazy geese.
Geese, yeah.
Geese.
European geese. They're nicer, I guess.
I guess.
Nicer geese.
Are they? They seem pretty judgmental.
Real judgy.
Sure.
Real judgy.
They taught them all how to waddle, though. That was nice.
It was funny though because they're in the middle of it, they're walking, and Louise is like, "I would have been really annoyed too. I feel you. I feel you, O'Malley."
You know, the geese aren't the only ones that got hips moving. When they're back with like scat cats, not
Scab cat.
Scat cat.
When they're in O'Malley's, house, I guess you could
Pad.
call it a house, his pad, and they're dancing. What's the mom's name?
Duchess
again?
be getting her
Duchess
hips on.
Has some moves. She be swinging.
Mm-hmm.
She
On
Duchess
knows
is
feet.
getting it.
on 2 feet.
2 feet. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny that you bring up that because the next thing under Scab Cat that I wrote on my notes is that particular scene, well, really any scene where they're singing that song, Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, are my favorite.
Right.
The color and the animation
Yeah.
are just so fun.
I
It's not
love
so
that
much
scene.
that they're like really intricate or anything, but the way that they play with the color is just too much fun. It goes really well with the music, and like you said, it makes you feel like you're in a crazy club, and
Yes.
Duchess be getting it.
Colors are bouncing around,
Duchess.
and they're dancing around like on 2 feet and very human-like and stuff, but they still look like cats.
Oh no, they're totally cats.
They're still very animated like kitties the whole time.
Kitties.
Kitties.
Kittens.
Kitties.
Kitties.
Kittens.
Throughout the whole movie, I like all the cat animation. Looks
Kittens.
really kitty cat to
catamation.
me. The catamation looks great. Like when Berlioz is playing the piano. Like I like how his paws just kind of like hit the
so
keys
cute.
and stuff like that. And every time Toulouse does his little
His little hair.
yeah his little hiss jump, he like hops up and it's good cat
It's
stuff.
very catty. It's so cute. I love Toulouse. Toulouse.
Toulouse.
You know what I think I relate with Toulouse is because when they got drugged by the sleeping pills and they wake up like on the side of the river and Marie's in a tree and Berlioz is just like on the ground.
No,
and
he's in the water, very sad.
Oh, he's in the water.
That's
but
right.
they're like, she's like, I'm gonna go look for Toulouse, and they're calling him like a million times, and he's just asleep in the basket. And he's like, what?
That would be Michelle if this all happened to us.
Duchess
I'd
was
just
pretty
be sleeping.
relaxed that all of her children had just like washed away from her after they'd been drugged and stuffed into a sack.
I'm gonna say that she's still like coming to. Like she's
Sure,
like
she was sleepy too.
she was sleepy. She didn't really understand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt.
Toulouse. Toulouse.
It's also funny because you would think because they're Aristocats, they're not alley cats, they're Aristocats, that they would be super offended by O'Malley when they met, but I think all of them are smitten.
They
with him.
all are like falling in love with O'Malley when
Marie's
he
always like, how romantic.
starts singing about
him.
himself. He's just like, I'm Abraham DeLacy, Joseph McKenzie,
Thomas O'Malley.
O'Malley, the alley cat. And they're like, oh,
And Luis goes, "Who sings about themselves like that?"
But he looks so smooth when he's like walking across the bridge on the river, being in trees and stuff.
Being in trees.
I wish I had
helping
him
beautiful
as a cat.
dames. We shall fly to Paris on a magic carpet. Aladdin reference. Boom.
Aladdin hadn't come out yet.
Aladdin reference. Boom.
Aladdinception.
I think
It came
magic
out
carpets
before.
were a thing before Aladdin, right?
Definitely.
You can't prove that.
But yes, he's very smooth. Like he magically made a car into a magic carpet and
Yeah.
convinced him that it was.
Oh, here's my posed question. Not that I'm going to battle or anything because Louis has his own battle for later, but here's my posed question for you, right?
Yes.
Cats have 9 lives.
Yes.
So we say. I don't know.
Sure.
Yes.
I want to ask you, how many lives do you think Thomas O'Malley has left?
Ooh.
Because this is why I asked this question. I feel like at least 3 times in this movie he could have like straight up died because he like puts his life out there to help the family.
Right.
So if he's just like randomly trying to do this for some randoms, he don't even know them,
For some randoms.
some random
Trying to
cats.
get that dame.
Yeah. But so if he's done that, I feel like he's probably done that a couple more times in his life.
Right.
So how many lives do you think he has left?
9.
9?
9? You think
I think he's invincible. He's Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat.
Thomas O'Malley and the alley cat.
He owns the whole wherever area in France. He's the top.
Paris?
He owns
He's
the
the top
whole
alley
Paris
cat.
area in France. He's the
Yeah.
top alley cat. That's
So
true.
he
But
has
how many
unlimited-
lives did he have to lose to
get
to
that
the
top-
You know?
He was born that way.
Oh.
I don't know.
Andre, how about you?
I don't know. I feel like he's probably like I don't think he's this helpful all the time. You know, if there's a
It depends on what he's going after.
right. I don't know if he's helping non-Duchess level kitties. You know what I'm saying? If they don't look like Duchess, he's not jumping to help out.
Do they have sapphires in their eyes or do
Right.
they have rubies in their eyes?
Exactly. Sapphires are worth more. He's the alley cat. He knows his stuff. So I
He's
think
probably lifted some. He knows
Right,
exactly
yeah.
how much
But
they're worth.
I think he has helped people out before. So I'd say he's probably still got like 6 lives left. or
Yeah,
something.
see, I think he's like lost like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah. You know, he's a good guy. He's an older cat. But
He's been around the block.
he's been around the block. But he hasn't fallen down any mine shafts or anything like that. I don't know.
Mine
I don't know
shaft.
what I'm
Louis,
talking
do you
about.
have a number of lives left for Senor O'Malley?
Senor O'Malley.
I think he actually has all of his. I think he's
Thank
a
you.
very wise, smart, street cat that he has not lost a single life.
Riff raff, street cat.
Oh, street cats. That's funny.
He can't buy that because he's an alley
Yeah.
Yo.
cat. All right. Well, that just was fun. Thank you, everyone. You just.
Thanks for
He's
that.
all, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have to talk about my favorite side characters, Lafayette and Napoleon, because when Lafayette goes, "Where's my Betty Bob basket?" I about pooped
Where's
my
my
pants.
Betty
I was
Bob
literally
basket?
dying. That whole scene where Edgar is trying to get his hat and his umbrella and everything back.
That scene is very
from the
good.
dogs.
Oh.
I was dying.
He's
Where's my
got
Betty
the
Bob
squeaky
basket?
shoes and that's a cricket bug.
But I love how Napoleon just puts up his ear and he's like, we got a size 16.
Size 10.
I don't know.
They're
Size
loafers.
10 and a half, loafers, and blah, blah,
What color are they? They're black.
Black.
Wait a minute.
blah. Or when
it's the haystack, he's like,
you're not going to believe this, but there's a one-wheeled haystack.
Edgar's just tickling or scratching Napoleon through the haystack, and he's like, oh yeah, oh that's good, yeah, oh Lafayette, that's the right spot, yeah. And he does it for like a long time
That's
before
how
waking
dogs
up.
are, though.
Man.
It's hilarious.
oh.
They are so funny. I don't know why. Oh my god, I can't handle it.
Well, what's funny is that I've known people in my life who are just like Napoleon. I'm the leader. I say when we're done. Okay, we're done.
Or when we charge, and he's like, I'm the leader. I'll say when we charge. Okay, let's
Charge!
And it's funny because Lafayette just goes along with it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's just like, Napoleon. Like
He's got them stubby little legs. He's got no
Every
He
choice.
doesn't have any choices.
Every
Our
time he
ears are
trips-
too long.
Every time he trips over his ear, I'm like, I need him. I love my dog so much.
So cute.
Do they have
It's
like
like a corgi
an
hound
owner,
dog.
or are they just guard dogs of this
The garden, some farm
hay
estate.
farm?
I think that they're like guard dogs on a farm, and they just have no other.
We're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
They got a couple tires earlier that day.
Yeah, they totally caught the guy who wasn't trying to break into the hay farm at all. He did it completely on accident.
One's a bloodhound and the other one is a basset hound, huh?
Hounds.
Yeah, one is like the hound from the Fox and the Hound, the one with the long ears.
Lafayette.
Basset hound.
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
It's Lafayette.
Lafayette.
See, my whatever accent is way better than my Paris one. 'Cause
My Paris accent.
to
You're
lose.
French.
Paris.
My French. You know what? I'll stick to my Okie accents. Okay,
Gonna
going down the bayou.
take you.
Gonna take ya. We're gonna take ya to Louise's bag.
This is like the third movie that we've watched that's set in France.
What
Yes.
is Louise's battle? What is Louise's battle?
Is this the song?
What is Louise's battle? He's gonna tell us right about now.
Oh, I don't know if I can listen to that every week.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Time for a battle.
He's ready.
All right, ladies and gents, for this week, who are the better crotchety duo? The dogs Lafayette and Napoleon, or the old man Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets? Ready, go.
Yeah, those dudes are pretty crotchety. The Muppet guys.
The crotchety
Waldorf
dudes.
and what's the other one's name?
Statler.
Statler, of course.
Waldorf and Statler.
They're natural born hecklers. They love to heckle. Not a huge fan of hecklers. Just
Andre,
personally.
why don't you tell everyone why you're not a fan of hecklers?
Oh, because I'm a stand-up comedian and you're ruining my stuff. Don't talk during my show. Please shut up.
Can you please tell them what you told me that you told a talker during your show the other day?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there was this girl. I was on stage and she was just like talking to her boyfriend, and I was like, and the show had just started, so I had just started talking. I was like, "Hey, look at that! I got a microphone in my hand and I'm talking, and my voice is amplified, and yours isn't. All right, let's keep going with this show."
Next time you have to be like, I'm the leader.
I'm the leader.
I'll tell you when to talk.
I'll tell you when to talk. Not now.
That's hilarious.
Which I thought that was quite funny. So that's what happens there.
So them versus Lafayette and Napoleon, who are guard dogs, who
heckle people that just try to drive in peace. They're just trying
no,
to
they're not
drive
hecklers.
somewhere.
They're just trying to do their job. But
The road isn't their job.
yeah, they went out to the road. They probably not supposed to go out to the road.
No.
I'm guessing.
They're hecklers.
I don't know if I would describe them as hecklers.
The Chargers.
They're chargers,
Charge.
is what they are, and they made like a pretty big mess. I think over if I wanted all my hay bales to be in nicely uniform things that I had baled them up in with hay,
I had bailed them.
The bale of them with hay.
I would want my dogs going through and ruining them all. Also, that hay looked very soft, and I have laid in hay before, and it is not. That's all. It's pokey.
When were you laying in hay, Andre?
Like
I just can't
at
think of.
the pumpkin patch.
We weren't laying in hay. We were sitting on a hay ride.
It's pokey.
Yeah, because they compact it all together like that.
That's a bale, yes. So no on the.
No hay.
When you said laid, I just pictured you making snow angels in a hay bale.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
So who's the better crotchety duo?
The better crotchety duo. Which one's better?
I'm going to say Waldorf and Statler because there is not one moment at any time when you see them doing anything but being a crotchety duo.
Right.
Like, even in my favorite movie, The Muppets Christmas Carol, they are the hecklers that they've always been. They die the hecklers. Like, they just...
They die in that movie?
Yeah, they're Marley and Farley. And they sing the song, and they literally are singing about how they died because they were crotchety and tight-fisted.
Our listeners didn't vote on that one. I need to see it.
Oh,
They're crotchety till the end of time.
yeah.
I'm also... This one's hard for me because I don't watch the Muppets, really.
That's your own problem.
But you know who
So-
Waldorf and Stat.
Yeah, I know who they are from the
Stidler.
from
Stat.
the Muppets 3D show that they used to have at California Adventure.
Ooh, that's not a good...
And they were like
no.
up in the top, and they were like, "Hey, hey!" That's all about I know about them.
Well, okay.
Sorry, guys, I can't vote on this one. It's not fair.
Well, I mean, you can still vote. It's not
Well, then I'll vote for the dogs
okay.
by default.
Okay. Well,
I'm trying to think like how crotchety are Lafayette and Napoleon. They're a little crotchety, but like not all the time. When they're just hanging out and there's no Edgar around, you know, they're having fun with the hat and the
yeah.
baby by what's it? The Buddy by basket.
Betty Bob basket. I think that's why I picked the other ones because there's never a moment when they're not being crotchety.
Yeah, I think I have to go with the Muppets as well. They're the crotchetier of the duos.
Crotchety.
I think Addie agrees with me.
Funny that all of you chose the crotchetiest ones, but like I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I know you're not gonna agree with me, but I'm gonna go with the dogs. Only.
I went with that. But by
Oh,
default,
okay,
doesn't
good.
Really count.
Only because they're more crotchety towards each other.
Ah.
That's why, like, in a different category, I'll go with them. And I think that's a bit more humorous, given my personality, that you're more crotchety towards each other than to other people, because being crotchety towards other people is just rude.
All right.
So,
You know, you're kind
The
of
dogs.
kind of crotchety, Luis. According
Speaking
Oh,
of being
damn.
crotchety,
Mm-hmm.
does anyone want to talk about what we heard from a young listener?
I was gonna say that's the perfect.
Oh, yes,
place
that's
to
right.
end.
Go ahead, someone narrate. 'Cause
We
I can't.
have a lovely listener whose daughter is hilarious, and she asked her daughter, "Who is your favorite on the podcast so far?" And she, what did she say? Atlanta?
Her daughter is like school age, very young.
Yeah,
and
she's
she
young.
said, well, like you could, you
catering.
could hear her thinking it like, well, probably the old man that's always negative.
Mr. Old Man Negative himself. Louis.
Oh, I thought it was you, Andre. Is it not you?
Wait, hey.
Oh, awkward.
Speaking of crotchety Lou.
I'm young man positive, okay?
Too loose. Old man negative. Young man positive. And I don't know what you are, Emily.
Emily. There you go.
So
So there you go. Louis would rather someone be crotchety to him than him be crotchety to someone else. Beautiful.
There
right.
you go.
But children do describe him as crotchety, basically.
If she knew that word, she would have used
Yes.
it. It's just not in her vocabulary
Old
yet.
man who's always negative.
That's so funny.
She said right now it's the old man who's always negative. So
Oh.
I guess that can change.
It could.
Too loose.
Too loose. All
Shout
right,
out to you,
so
young child. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mila.
I want to talk about. You were making the comment that this is one of your favorite. Well, it is your favorite of like the Disney classics.
Yes.
Which is kind of hard for me to define what constitutes a Disney classic.
That's why I
like,
have
is there a
yeah.
year cutoff line? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this year and before, all of those are Disney classics.
Well, maybe we can put them into
But-
like ages, like the Bronze Age and the Golden Age.
That sounds difficult.
Andre has like a running list of like every movie
Yeah, this doesn't seem hard.
by year, so I feel like he could do that. I mean, I'm not gonna
You
do
know,
that. But.
it's funny because the way that I define a Disney classic is if you grew up with VHSs, they all had like kind of the same cover and closing, but like with the different poster on it.
Yeah.
Like it was like white on the outsides and there was like these lines. So like they all had that like classic cassette VHS tape look, which they've also made into journals and I need them. So that's what I define as a Disney classic. But
Oh, I thought you were talking about the beginning of the movie, like the way that the
yes,
the
opening
like the
credits.
intro?
the title page came up.
Oh,
Because that's how, at least in
That's
my
how you
mind,
define it?
when I see it and it's like,
The
it's
blue,
funny because
like-
today it was, when we watched it, it was Walt Disney Productions, like
Yeah.
very
Right, yeah.
like old time watercolory, and that was
Yes.
like, wow,
That was
that's
cool.
old.
I like the painting.
Which
Or
is
like
very Disney
if you
classic.
see it and it's the castle that's all like in bars side
Yeah.
to side, that's like, ooh, that's like mid 90s.
And like the music that plays over the castle's like
it's real bad.
yeah, that one.
Dear, dear, dear,
But all
dear.
synthesized and warbled.
Yeah. But fun fact, it's so funny that I'm calling this a fun fact because it's also kind of a sad fact. But this
It's just a
was
fact.
the last animated movie that Walt Disney worked on before he passed away. And unfortunately, he passed away before this movie was released. So people kind of constituted its, I guess you could say, lack of success. People don't necessarily thought that it was that successful at the time. And they constituted it due to the fact that Walt Disney didn't get to put all of his, knowledge into the movie. But I still really like it. It's sad. That's all. So 1970. So is 1970 and before what's considered Disney classic? I don't know.
Well, and that's why earlier when I said like original and then I used the word classic and I kind of stopped, that's why I have a hard time using those phrases because like you said, it's going to be different for everyone.
Right.
When I say classic, I think childhood
Yeah.
for me.
So
And
it's
that
everything I
means,
watched as a kid.
I know, which could mean anything from the 40s until the 90s.
But
so really it's a
classic,
nice...
a goofy movie.
It's a beautiful 50-year period of
Right.
classic movies for Emily. But it's interesting because I think it just depends on your age on what you're going to say is a classic. But when they do it with the vault, that's very specific on what they
Yeah,
put in
it
and they
is.
don't put in. You know what I mean? And they call those Disney classics. So it's interesting just based on how they can categorize it.
That is interesting. Another fun fact about this movie is before Walt Disney decided that it should be an animated film, it was originally slated for a live action, which
That's
to
right.
me seems ridiculous because all I can think about is the musical Cats. Like, is that how this would have looked?
There's going to be a live action two-parter on The Wonderful World of Color, which was a
Disney.
television series on Disney.
The wonderful world of color.
I didn't know.
The
that.
Wonderful World of Disney.
No, The Wonderful World of Color.
Is that what it was called?
I'm pretty sure. I looked it up earlier.
It was. You're wrong. It was The Wonderful World of Disney.
I'm pretty sure you're quoting the song. But you can do you, Andre. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Y'all. Wait, no, it's right here. Walt Disney's A Wonderful World of Color. Hang on. Sorry, I lost it.
The wonderful world of
So wonderful, so magical.
Oh my God.
This is our interlude. While Andre's Googling some facts.
I'm typing. Where did it go?
Prove him wrong.
I spelled wonderful wrong. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
1954. Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color.
But what do you mean? I know what The Wonderful World of Color
A
is.
Disney-produced anthology covering many different genres. It had 317 episodes.
Jeez Louise.
Boom! It ran from 1954 to 1986.
So they were going to release it as like 2 parts as an episode.
Yes.
On that.
As a
but
two-parter.
live action though?
Live
like,
action.
I just imagine just cats like in a shelter, just running around.
Do you want to know why it was going to be live action? Is because this is the wildest fact I heard about this movie. It's based on a true story. A lady in 1910 left a bunch of money to her cats.
I
Good
believe
for
it.
her.
There's
I
plenty
was-
of crazy cat ladies
I was
out
trying
there.
to find like the story about it to see if her crazy butler actually tried to kill those cats, but I couldn't find anything.
Interesting.
Unfortunately. Alas.
Another interesting fact about this movie is that because it was the last movie that Walt kind of put his touch on,
Stamp of approval.
it's the last one to end with the line "a Walt Disney production" at the end of the movie,
That's nice.
which is really interesting because you would, I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't have noticed that fact until it was pointed out. But it's interesting too because a lot of the animation that's done in this movie was actually used in another movie, in another one of the Disney movies. In Robin Hood, Maid Marian is the same type of animation is used from Duchess. So when you see her moving, and actually
Like
a lot
her
of the
hip
parts,
movements.
when
Yeah.
she's standing up in that cat sequence, that we talked about earlier, they're actually using Duchess's base animation
Right.
for her.
That makes a lot
Which
of
is super
sense.
interesting. You know, I've never seen the movie Robin Hood. I want to see that, man.
Ooh, it's good.
Robin Hood's good. I like
That's
Robin
It's
Hood.
good.
it's funny, but it's also really sad. Like it's
Yeah.
a good mix of
I'm gonna have to watch
good.
it.
stuff.
Also,
I like
we
the
didn't
jewel
even
thief scene.
talk about the obvious here that
Roquefort.
Thomas
Oh.
O'Malley is voiced by Disney legend Phil Harris.
Yes, who
He
also
is
voiced
Baloo.
Baloo.
Yes,
And
very much Baloo. It's funny
So
because
Baloo.
it sounds like Baloo just
He
rolling
even
down.
said like,
Right.
he's all, this movie was easy for me. I'm just playing myself again. Like they basically wrote the character for him and they let him change some of the lines
And they, like,
things like that.
modeled O'Malley's appearance after Phil Harris, which is weird, but
That's so weird.
It's a little.
Catman.
But that's so cool to me. Like I love his voice. Like he has a very good animated voice, you know, for Baloo and for O'Malley.
He's also
perfect for both of
Little
them.
John in Robin Hood.
See,
Well, I haven't seen Robin
Aforementioned.
Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna go home and watch it because I'm kind of sad about it. It's fine.
it was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore, but that's how I watched it, and I watched it twice because I really enjoyed it.
I don't know either.
Luis fell asleep
Interesting.
and was asleep through the second time. So yeah.
Usually we talk about the music a lot too in these animated movies, but there's really only the 2 songs, huh? Like Scales and Arpeggios and Everybody Wants to Be a Cat.
Well, the other ones are fragmented.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the dun, 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 dun,
The
it's just
Goose song.
music.
Yeah.
And then his Thomas O'Malley cat song isn't. I mean, I guess it's a song, but it's
Right.
more like an interlude than it is a song. I would say. But
Yeah.
It's like an introduction.
Yeah.
it's a Fanny and
Introduction
Fanny
sequence.
introduction.
It's a funny introduction.
That's what it is.
Technically, yes, it's a fancy introduction.
I want to talk about Roquefort,
Please,
Roquefort,
because
oh my
literally,
goodness!
the true hero of this story.
he's like the rescuer
The
of the
Great
story.
Mouse Detective.
Right?
Exactly. He puts on a hat and
He
a
looks
jacket.
just
He looks
like them.
just like Sherlock Holmes. And The Great Mouse Detective came out in 1986. So I feel like Roquefort is a true inspiration
There you go. He's
for that
He
movie.
definitely was.
He's the
love
cheese
Yes.
Roquefort.
inspiration.
Granted, all I could think about the whole time I was watching him was Winnie the Pooh because he even did a little laugh like Winnie
Oh,
the
yes,
Pooh.
he does.
He's definitely voiced
But
by Winnie the
he
Pooh.
is the realist. He's looking out for everybody.
As soon as he heard that the cats were missing, he's like, I better go out into the rain and try to find them.
And it's great too because he's like, they're not going to last out there. I'm going to go. And he's definitely the smallest thing on the farm thing.
You're a mouse, dude.
Frou Frou didn't go, but Roquefort did.
Yeah,
know.
Frou-Frou, you're a horse. Get out there.
You could have at least like let Roquefort on your mane and rode him out there.
On your mane.
Guys, be more sensitive. What's going to gather more attention, a little mouse or a horse in Paris?
Probably
little
the
mouse.
horse. But
Cooking stuff.
Yeah. So cut the poor horse some slack.
you know what? He had that little gate in front of his thing. He couldn't get out.
Plus, there's a lot of rats in Paris. We already associated this, so the mouse can just
Blend in.
blend in with the rest
He
of
can
them.
just be mouse.
No, but he actually says one of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
Ooh,
I was
what is it?
giggling about it as we started
Can I
recording.
guess it?
Please.
He got me.
What?
No, it's not. He got me. Wait.
You got me.
when Edgar's
When he
popping
gets hit with
bottles
the
and he hits it with the cork, it's like, oh,
He got me. That's actually quite hilarious. But
That's my favorite.
it's when O'Malley Roquefort finds O'Malley and he tells him like, don't just the kittens and blah blah blah, and then O'Malley's like, go find all the other cats, like just tell him O'Malley sent you, right? So he runs over there and he can't remember O'Malley's name, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and you know, all the cats are like giving him a hard time, they're gonna eat him, right? And then he says something like, why did I listen to that O'Malley cat? and then Scat Cat goes,
O'Malley.
he's like, O'Malley, and he's like, oh, you're on that level. And then
Little guy's on the level.
and Roquefort goes, you're darn tootin' I'm on the level.
Like he's just so cool. And then right when he says that, he like puts up his like pops up
Yes.
the collar on his jacket and like shrugs it down. He's
Darn
like, "You're
tootin'
tooting him on that
I'm
level."
on the
Like,
level.
and that's funny because I feel like that's something someone would say today.
Yes.
Like that is like
Too
slang.
Of course, I'm on the level.
Darn
I
tootin'
know
I'm on
O'Malley.
the level.
Darn tootin' I'm on the level.
It's
That is
just-
so funny. But
Oh, great.
they would be nowhere without Roquefort.
Oh, absolutely not. They'd be in Timbuktu. Actually, that's where
Ooh,
they'd be.
Timbuktu.
Well, yeah, they would be in Timbuktu.
Yeah, it's interesting because towards the end, so the cats come back. Edgar finds them. He puts them in the bag, and he's getting ready to send them to Timbuktu.
Couldn't he just killed him at that point? Like, let's just
Right.
get to the point.
Because as soon as the jazz cats come in to attack him,
Jazz
he
cats.
starts swiping at him with a sickle, and he's stabbing at him with the
Pitchfork.
Very
Like
violent.
you could have just killed the main cats, I guess, if you were gonna do all of
Except
this.
for that pause when Roquefort's like, quiet! And then they all pause.
and he picks the lock.
And he's like, okay.
And then as soon as they pop it, they're like, "Arr."
That's Disney comedy at
funny.
its finest.
It's good.
It's funny though because I was thinking about like that. Wouldn't it just been easier just to kill him in the first place?
Right.
But I think it's because he still liked the
He still
cats.
kinda cares
like
about
he
them.
cares about them, so he felt bad he couldn't actually
I
kill
can't
them.
watch
It's
them
funny.
die. I have to
Ship them to
ship them to Timbuktu.
like they wouldn't have died on the way there.
Those cats are really living. You know how Baloo's like, this is really living. No, that wasn't really living. Those cats are living.
If we're going to talk about the easiest things Edgar could have done, Edgar could have just not gone 0 to 60 and quote unquote been the one who is really enjoying the money, because how the cats ain't going to enjoy no money. If they're the ones who inherit the money and Edgar's the only one left, Edgar's the one making the decisions.
Edgar is.
Let's
once
talk
again,
about what could have
He's
been
not very
easiest.
bright.
He's one of the dumbest villains that we've had in any of our movies. I feel
And it's
like.
sad because you really like him at the beginning. I mean, yeah, you only get like 5 minutes of liking him, but still you're like thinking, hey, this guy's a good dude. Then he turns into an idiot.
He is an idiot.
Yeah, and we're actually bypassing a very funny scene right at the beginning when George pops up at the house, right? And he's trying to walk up the stairs, and and
Oh my
Edgar's
gosh.
Edgar's desperately trying to get him
It's
inside
like, hey,
the
there's an elevator.
elevator,
we
right?
built one inside of this house. You should use
for you, George. This is for you.
it. Elevators are for old people.
How old did he say it was? He's like, I'm 96. Something
like,
like
he's
that.
No, he
85
said
or
something like,
something.
"Oh, you know, sprite like I was when I was 80."
No, that's
Like,
right.
And you're like, so how old are you, sir?
Yeah, George's legs
Crazy.
are out of commission. He
And
needs,
those stairs seem to be much higher than a normal set of stairs. There was like at least
Oh, yeah.
4 flights
they looked
going
like
up.
Cinderella stairs, like when she's like running out of the castle, losing her shoe.
Yeah, you know, I just
It was a little
I feel for Edgar there. Maybe that's what like made him
that's
go
what
over the
sent him
top.
over the edge.
Like
right there.
having to carry
I had
George
to
up
carry
one
that
last
dude
time.
up that flight of stairs, and
He's like,
he
"I'm
messed
done."
up all my clothes.
I lost my pants in front of my mistress.
Oh, good.
I have a nitpick.
Oh, please do.
Madam is drawn. Well, first of all, in her silhouette, she kind of looks like the evil stepmother from Cinderella,
She does.
which
She
is
does.
which is pretty cool. But when she's animated, her animation is like it almost looks like it's not done. Like she's like very liney.
Yes.
You know,
The
like you can-
beginning of the movie is like that.
It's
the whole thing.
Like
Yeah,
I wrote
it
that
is.
down, and then I noticed it later because she was in a scene and it was doing it again, like all the lining movements in her hair. And I'm not sure if it's just because of the way her hair was animated, or if it's because it was like, I'm done with Madam. I don't need to finish drawing her.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because I noticed that on all the human characters. So I wonder if they made the animals the focus and they
Sure.
did like the best emphasis on them, because I noticed that on George around his glasses was really like,
the
I don't want to say
stuff.
bad, but it was just very liney.
Right.
And what's his face? De la Creme.
Edgar.
his pants, his clothes, and
Oh,
everything
okay.
did that as well. So I wonder if it was because the most beautiful things in the movie were the backgrounds
Right.
were gorgeous
Yes, all
and the
pink.
And the
cats.
cats. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible that
It's kind of maybe where they wanted
the humans
to put more
were
of
just
the
like an
money into.
afterthought.
I mean, I don't know
guess.
how big the budget was for this film necessarily. But
Right. But I was thinking, I was like, this movie came out in 1970. I don't remember any liney animation in Peter Pan. But maybe they just had a smaller budget for this
They
movie.
probably
Who knows?
did have
Or
a small
time
budget.
period.
Or
Yeah.
it might have been because Walt passed and they were just kind of like, all right.
They were just
they
all
were
drawing cooking because they were
feeling-
so distraught.
Yeah, they could.
Oh, wow.
And so like let's put out a crap movie because
I don't know.
But it's funny because this movie came out apparently on December 24th. So it was the Christmas movie that year. And I feel like in some ways it's really fun, but then in other ways it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of sad
Somber
for
and depressing. And
yeah.
you think a couple of cats are going to die pretty quick in the beginning of the movie.
Everybody wants to be a cat. You know what's funny about that song? Sorry.
What is funny?
I'm getting, my brain is like, anyways, at the end, when they're singing the song, like in the reprise, and Madam just decided to take in all of the alley cats into her home.
Which was a questionable decision.
That's
Very
when I
questionable.
truly discovered that this woman is crazy insane.
But the horse sings it. It's like, everybody wants to be a cat. And then the geese are like, the drunk uncle's like, everybody wants to be a cat. And then the dogs is like, everybody wants to be a cat. Why are they like breaking the fourth wall doing that? They're just like,
no, they want to be cats too.
they didn't know they were singing that song.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Everybody wants to be a cat. They
I
were
will say that
expressing their love
the
for-
ending where Napoleon's like, I'm the leader, I'll say when it's the end. It just reminds me of like when we watched Roger Rabbit, how they like kind of broke the wall with the ending. And was it Porky Pig? That was like, oh, that sounds good.
and Tinkerbell flying over.
It kind of like reminded me of that. They almost gave him his own little ending, so that was cute.
Well, and then the end like
It smacks him
slides
in the
in
head.
and smacks him in the head.
Yeah,
That's
It's
quite
the end.
hilarious.
they broke like the fourth wall a little bit there, which was kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading my own.
No,
notes.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the amount of just meh. all the way around.
This is why we can't record at night because now we're sleepy. We didn't make no coffee.
Nah, time to record.
You know, I haven't had any coffee today.
What?
It's a serious
Are you
thing.
okay?
Do I look okay?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you look fine.
I appreciate that. It's because I got a facial, but I don't feel all right. Are you looking at my eyes? I'm pretty sure my eyes aren't open.
Interesting. You're wearing glasses. I can't see them.
Oh my god.
That is irrelevant. What does this movie have on the tomato?
The tomato meter shows that the Aristocats has a slightly less than solid 67%.
Oh man.
That makes me sad.
Yes. It has a Metascore of 65 out of 100. It has an IMDb rating of 7.1 out of 10.
So it's still considered certified fresh?
Yes, still fresh.
It's
Not
fresher
certified
than
fresh, but
67.
it's fresh.
Hmm.
It's a
I
fresh
think
tomato.
It's fresher than that.
It's not a rotten tomato.
It's about to become fermented on your table.
About to be taken.
Yep, I know. There's the tomato. You're looking at it right now on my table.
There's some tomatoes on the table.
All right.
So yeah,
Well,
not the highest rated movie in the world, but a good one.
Well, we're
Okay.
about to rate it higher, I think. What are you going to give
I'm
it?
going to give it a
I'm
rating.
scared now. I say that, and he's going to be like, it's a 4.
No, it's not.
Oh my
It's
God,
definitely
it's
not a
not
four.
a
Any of us
four.
have
This-
given a movie lower than a 7?
no.
Did I give?
Because we haven't been watching
yeah.
anything that's lower than a 7. Because there's
True.
some things I can think about that are lower than a 7.
That's true. No,
If you guys
no.
want us to start doing
Whoa!
bad-
Actually, I don't remember that movie very well, but
bad Disney movie reviews, we'll jump into the dregs.
That's
There
what
are
we're going to
some.
have them vote on. Pick from the 4 worst Disney movies. Which one do you want us to watch?
and you know what you do on that, listeners? You pick none of them.
Johnny
Just don't
Appleseed 3 or Johnny Appleseed 5.
Oh my
There's a lot of
gosh.
Johnny Appleseed
All
movies.
Are you being
Ian?
serious?
I am so serious.
Oh my God! Ew, no.
Can't
I'll
wait.
be absent that week.
Impossible.
Impossible.
I'm going to
For
give
a
this
plain
movie.
yellow pumpkin to become a
Different
golden
Cinderella,
carriage.
not
The
Disney.
possible, the best
I- it is the
Cinderella.
best one,
I'm
man.
We're
sorry.
never watching Cinderella because
We
that
might.
was way better.
Is that a Disney version or no?
No.
No, it's not.
It's
Rodgers
and Hammerstein.
Oh, it's so good.
No,
Can we watch that after
when we do Cinderella, we're gonna watch the old one, the new one, and then the Rodgers and Hammerstein version, and then mainly talk about the Rodgers
and then we
Hammerstein
can
version.
compare them. I think that would be
Exactly.
really good.
That would be so fun.
Boom.
Oh, Brandy.
Ooh,
Brandy.
Okay, now we know what we're doing.
She's
after
so
this.
good though.
We're ordering pizza and
Whitney
watching
Houston.
Rodgers and Hammerstein
you're
Cinderella.
gonna order pizza.
Right?
No
Okay.
cheese.
Hash-
Back to
Hashtag.
Aristocats. What are you giving this movie, Andre?
I am going to give this movie an 8 out of 10.
An
An 8. This movie is very fun. It's really short, which I like. Short is good. It loses a couple points for that wonky animation, I think, in my mind. I noticed it too heavily. I don't think I ever noticed it when I was a kid, obviously, but this viewing I noticed it a lot. But the songs are fun. O'Malley's cool. I like the kitties. Although it's weird because like the story it goes through like the adults and then the adult cats and then the kitty cats and then the jazz cats and then back to the kitty cats and back to the adult cats.
Back
But
to
like
the
I
geese,
feel like
back to the dogs.
it's weird because like I always thought of the kitty cats as like the main characters of the story, but it's a lot more evenly
no, it's-
I
spread.
think just because Marie
that.
is so popular in like Disney.
Well,
culture,
no, I think
too.
it's because I was once
You
a
were a
kid,
kid,
and
so
I
you
identified
cared about
with
what the kids were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't care about what Madam was doing. I didn't know she had a wheel when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know? Let's get back to those kitty
What's
cats.
going on with George?
George.
See, I thought his name was like
Roquefort.
Juju.
He was
Roquefort.
fun when he had his knobby knees, and as soon as he put those glasses on, ignore.
Hilarious.
So it's my kid brain. So yes, an 8 out of 10 for me. Good stuff, Aristocats.
That's very good stuff. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5. I really, really like it. Every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more. Like there's something funny. The side characters definitely steal the show for me, like the dogs, the geese, the scat cats. Like all of those scenes steal it for me. I absolutely am in love with Thomas O'Malley, which we didn't even talk about their little love scene, like outside on his house. And they're like, well, we almost had a dad. So funny. And the whole time I
and
was
she's like
thinking-
so ready for her
Yeah.
for him
Yeah.
to be her
All right, let's
Yeah.
do this, dude.
Because
dad
cats,
child.
you know, and I
Alley cat I
think
just
about-
met today.
That's how cats roll. And it's so funny because when they separated,
Michelle knows.
How cats
they were
roll.
just so chill about it. And he was like, just made fast goodbye, baby. And she was like, well, bye. I'll never forget you. And he's like, sayonara. Or whatever.
Sarah Nora.
Sarah Nora.
Sarah Nora.
It's so funny because to me that's like how
Says
chill
something
cats
about
are. And they just
fancy
do themselves.
wigwams.
Fancy wigwams. So 8.5 for me. It doesn't have a ton of music, but the music that it has is good. The animation is okay, but the animals steal the show. 8.5. Louis, what are you giving this movie?
Okay, Emily's gonna.
Oh,
Louis,
Emily's going
Louis,
first.
pass it off to me.
Thank you.
I'm going to give it probably an 8.5, and that's not because I don't love it. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites. So on Emily's meter, I want to give it, like, again, it's in my top 5 for sure. But like in realistic terms, like you said, the animation, I think that it's lacking a little bit and they could have done more. Right. Even though the geese are part of my favorite characters, when I step back from it, I don't understand how they fit in the plot.
Right.
They literally walk in and then walk out. Like
they walk them to Paris.
And they don't really do anything. Right. Like, they don't help the story along other than add comedic effect.
Yes.
So that's kind of like, I thought there was more that they were like, they were the reason to be in the story, and I was looking for that, and I was like, no, they just kind of taught them how to walk. Weird. But anywho, I love them. They're hilarious. Yes. So I would say 8.5 as well, but will I watch this movie 7 million more times?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Every time the music comes on, I get really excited. It's jazzy. It's fun. And I sing it for days on end after I watch it. Right. So just get ready for Everybody Wants to Be a Cat 25 more times because it's happening. Oh.
Addie's asleep.
I'll take a picture and post it.
Everybody wants to be
Well,
asleep.
guys, I kind of already really disagree with all of you.
Ooh.
As far as the animation goes, we're looking at 1970s, so, you know, I'm not too upset with the animation.
Think of Peter Pan. That was way better, and that was 52.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I'm biased against Peter Pan, so don't ask me when it comes to him. Well, it could also be I appreciate that kind of animation.
Sure.
Okay.
I really like that kind of animation. I think it's classic and it appeals to my senses. But besides that, the geese really didn't have a say in the plot, but they were useful, or else O'Malley is dead. So that's why I'm not too upset with the geese. But overall, but like I said, I do agree with you. There's no real point to them as far as the plot goes. They just did one very important thing, and that's it. But I'm going to give it
cameo from the geese.
I totally forgot that they saved it. There you go, Lou. Thanks for bringing it home for us.
I'm sorry. I will give it a 9.5.
Oh, wow.
I really liked it.
Ooh la la, 9.5.
You heard it here first, folks.
Boom.
Okie dokie. That's it for the Aristocats. What are we watching next week, Michelle?
Oh, we are watching.
No, it's my movie.
Awkward.
Do you wanna know what it is?
I do.
Do you know what it is?
No.
I know what it is.
I'm trying to think of what the song is. Thank you. Boom, 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 boom. Pretty much it's just Hans Zimmer all up in your face.
Yeah. We're watching Hans Zimmer.
It's the Zimmer podcast next week.
We are going to watch Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse
of the Black Pearl.
So the original Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. So I know that we've talked multiple times about like what we'll be doing when there's movies that come out with sequels. But at this point, we're just going to stick with the first ones for now. Plus, in most people's opinion, including mine, the first Pirates of the Caribbean is like...
It's a standalone,
It's
too.
So good.
Yeah.
It's just
so... Stands on its own.
Can't be beat.
It's the best.
I am
it's
so
the
excited for that.
best. So I'm super excited because not only does it feature a lot of my favorite actors, but as you can tell, we're all jazzed about the music because, oh my God.
It's good stuff.
So Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl coming at you next week.
Booyah. Okay, that's the end of the podcast, you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to... hang out with us. Yes, love us on love us on Instagram. We are at the Walt Pod. That's where all the action is happening. That's where we'll post the Would You Rather and all that stuff. Or you can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. We are at the Walt Pod on both of those. Love on us. You can love on us in our DMs on any of those social media platforms, or you can love on us in an email at contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we may just read your message on the show. The last email I received was spam from China asking me if I wanted to rent a car. So please write in, because that wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be when I saw the red notification on my mail app. You guys, don't forget, we are on Patreon, and if you want to get access to our lovely after show, A Crack in the Vault, you can go to patreon.com/thewaltvault and sign up for as little as $1 a month to help support us, help us keep our lights on, and you'll get access to that show.
There are no lights on right now.
It's dark in here, guys. Help us out. You can subscribe to us on... Shut up, you guys. You can subscribe to us on Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, anywhere you can get podcasts, but especially iTunes, which is where we encourage you to go to leave us a review, leave us a rating. 5 stars is good. I like that one and none of the other ones. That's the best way to let people know that you like us and help us get found by more people. So go there, please subscribe, help us out. That's it for now, you guys.
Wait, I'm the leader. I'll say when the fall